Peace and power, family. Wait for a few people to come into the room, and we'll go ahead and get this discussion on the way. I hope everybody had a prosperous and wonderful new year. I hope your 2026 has been as prosperous as your 2025. I'm not necessarily prepared to do a video chat today, so I'm just going to do a voice chat, but I'm sure you guys don't mind that. And this panel will be open for discussion. Let a few people get into the room before I get started. Peace and power.
Hello?
Can you hear me, brother? Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're coming through loud and clear. 120 lessons.
Bet.
120 lessons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I was just going to wait for a few people to jump into the room, and then I'm going to get started. There's an echo. Wait, let me see if I can get rid of this echo here. Like I said, border security and migration. Like I said, Trump has blamed Maduro for the influx of millions of Venezuelan migrants to the U.S., accusing, without evidence, of course, of emptying his prisons and insane asylums to force inmates to migrate. So basically, leaving Maduro in power, destabilizing the country, forcing people to migrate to the United States. Okay, and that is pretty much one of the reasons why I believe the Democrats. We're going to jump into the Democrats real quick. They wanted Maduro to stay in office because he had an indictment pending on him since 2020. So why are Democrats upset at this invasion of Venezuela? They are mad because the Democrats just lost a voting base, okay? Democrats knew that Nicolas Maduro had an indictment pending since 2020. They did not prosecute him because Maduro maintaining a power forced a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? Causing a mass migration to the U.S. This DNC plan failed because the Venezuelan the migrants are very happy right now that Trump is intervening. All right. So that is why the Democrats are upset, because they feel that they are losing a voting base. And this whole thing has just blown up in their face. It's blown up in their face. And, now the Democrats are panicking. They don't know what to do. You have people trying to tell Trump to cease and desist and stuff like that. And obviously he is not listening. Other reasons why Trump has decided to launch an attack on Venezuela is the Don Road Doctrine. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Don Road Doctrine, but basically Trump described the operation as an update to the 19th century Monroe Doctrine. Okay, and those that don't know what the Monroe Doctrine is, the Monroe Doctrine is a U.S. foreign policy established by President James Monroe in 1823, okay, that warned European powers against further colonization or interference in the independent nation of the Western Hemisphere. So basically, peace and power, FBA all day, 120 lessons. So basically, what Trump is saying is that he is continuing the Western imperialism, the same Western imperialism that put them in power in the first place, conquest. This is a part of white supremacy, okay? Is conquest, ruling, taking control of the resources. That's what that's about, okay? Asserting that American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned. And these are Trump's words. These are his words exactly. Also, another reason why Trump has decided to invade Venezuela is to enforce a regime change and democracy. The U.S. government continues to view Maduro's rule as illegitimate. Okay, so they don't take his rulership seriously. They say that it's illegitimate, that is disputed in 2024. Okay, so it was disputed in 2024 elections. Trump has appointed Maduro vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. Okay, she's the person who's running Venezuela now. Trump put her in power, Delcy Rodriguez, okay, as an interim leader, stating she will hold power as long as she does what we want. So they put Delcy Rodriguez in power, which was Maduro's vice president. So as long as she does what they want and does their bidding, she will maintain power. Okay, so it was a regime, not necessarily a regime change, because uh, Delcy Rodriguez is a Maduro loyalist. Okay, but since Trump done gangstered his way into their government, now she is forced, her hand is forced to do what they say to do. As long as she wants to keep power, she has to do what they say. So that's what's going on with that. So it's not necessarily a regime change, but then again, it is, because her rulership is not opposite side of Maduro anymore. So that's that. So let's talk about this capture real quick. And peace of power to the people joining the room. Don't forget to send your likes, your gifts. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Rebellious Rhymer Podcast on YouTube. I have plenty of information, videos, and doctrine that you can check out. If you go to YouTube and search The Rebellious Rhymer Podcast, please give me a like, a follow, and don't forget to comment, okay? Let's talk about the capture. The capture followed Operation Southern Spear. That was the name of this operation, okay? Operation Southern Spear, a month-long military pressure campaign involving a naval blockade and over 35 airstrikes on alleged drug smuggling vessels in the Caribbean and the Pacific, which reportedly killed over 100 people. Maduro and his wife were flown to New York to face trial immediately following their capture. Okay, so this is what we were talking about as far as Trump bombing these vessels and stuff like that, because supposedly these vessels are bringing in a mass amount of cocaine and fentanyl. And a lot of people think that, well, maybe Trump is just doing this for the oil reserves and stuff like that, which he admit that is part of the reason. But what a lot of people don't know is that Trump had a brother, okay, his only brother, who died of alcohol and drugs, okay, something like that. So I feel that Trump is he does have a vendetta against drugs and drug smuggling, due to the fact that he lost his only brother in this so-called war on drugs. You understand what I'm saying? So why are Venezuelans celebrating? That's what a lot of people want to know. Because I see some people upset at Trump, upset at the administration for pulling this maneuver, but the Venezuelans are celebrating. Here and abroad, they're celebrating. The Venezuelans are celebrating. Why is that? Maduro has been accused of some heinous acts, and I'm going to go through some of them, by the Venezuelan people. And these are some of the things that the Venezuelan people accused Maduro of. They accused him of killing his political opposition, okay? Which is a corrupt move. He offed his political oppositions. He created hard labor and re-education camps. You know what I'm saying? Also, he had publicly fixed elections, brutal violence, and dictatorship, and things of that nature. So this is what I'm saying. Black Americans, because everything relates back to Black Americans. All right, because that's just who I am and this is who I represent and how this affects us. How this affects American people in the whole, but how does this affect us as far as foundational Black Americans? Now, so these are some of the crimes that Maduro was accused of, as far as the fixed elections and the hard labor camps, re-education camps, which is basically propaganda and things of that nature. And we're going to talk about some of his support. You had China, who recently came out and saying that Trump needs to cease and desist, and they demanded him to release Maduro immediately. But not only China, but Mexico as well has stated that Trump needs to release Maduro and his wife immediately. So China and Venezuela have long-standing and continuous agreements on oil, with China being Venezuela's biggest oil customer and investor, involving massive loans for oil development and exports, and recent deals including a 20-year pact for a private Chinese firm to develop oil fields for increased production. These deals is centered on Venezuela supplying oil to China, often in exchange for Chinese investments and loans. Okay, loans to bolster its struggling oil sector, despite U.S. sanctions. Okay, so China has always been ready for the smoke, so they are dealing with Venezuela in trades for oil and goods, despite the U.S. sanctions. Okay. China provided billions in loans to Venezuela, which were repaid through oil shipments. China states lenders have halted new loans, are wary of the political situation after recent events. So China put a halt on the loans and stuff to Venezuela due to these recent events by Trump. They're not sending no more money to Venezuela until they figure out what's going on as far as this whole situation with the United States invading Venezuela. So China put a hold on all of their loans and stuff. And I don't want to hear anything TikTok. I don't want to hear nothing about false information and misleading information. I don't want to hear that. None of that's true. TikTok always have these type of shadow bans and stuff on me. I'm not dealing with that today. I'm almost about to open up this panel. Let me just finish this up. China states lenders have halted new loans, wary of political situations after recent events. Mexico, now we're going to talk about Mexico. Mexico supports Venezuela as well by consistently opposing foreign military intervention, condemning recent U.S. strikes as violations to international law, advocating for peaceful negotiated solutions, urging the UN to act, which, I don't see what the UN is exactly going to do about it. I mean, to me, the UN is pretty much an empty suit, a puppet faction with no army. So I really don't see what complaining to the UN is going to do about the situation. But if anybody want to add to this discussion, you go ahead and add to it. I know my brother wanted to add to it, 120. So if you want to go ahead and unmute, and if you want to add to this discussion, you may go ahead and do so, my brother.
Peace, 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 and power. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, peace and power, man. You see what this is, man. Like I've been saying all over Facebook, Instagram, man, about this situation. It's a lot of misunderstanding that our people and the public is having about the situation with Venezuela. This is nothing new, man. And I see what Trump is doing. We see what Maduro has done. I always say this, man. Politics is playing in the devil's den. I said this for years, man. Everybody has their hands dirty, but at the same time, man, you have to do what's best for your nation, man. I mean, where you lay your head at. And as far as the attack on America, that was really, I can say, sleeper cell attack. How I look at it too from Venezuela, just as well as from Mexico. when I say sleeper cell, you having people come here, um, setting up shop, um, selling drugs in our neighborhoods, and we can see in Chicago alone. Chicago, we had FBAs out there complaining about the Venezuelans with the gang activity out there. And not only that, these people come into the black community and it caused the crime rate to go up. Not only that, along with Mexico, and Mexico is going to be next, I presume, but I believe that Mexico is going to be dead last after Cuba and some more of these Central and South American countries. But we looking at it on the black side of the fence that, okay, man, listen, these people coming in our areas, man, doing everything under the sun, setting up shop. You had a problem with kidnapping. We had the problem with the kidnapping situations out here. Nothing was done about it. The Democrats didn't do anything, man. As far as the situations with so many of these black girls coming up missing, we got to factor that in. We don't do hold on, let me get this back up. We don't do a lot of kidnappings in our community, man. We understood that a lot of these foreigners, man, from Central and South America committing a lot of these kidnappings. So it's interesting for me to see the number of drug sales that goes down. We know as black folks, man, we're not doing a lot of the shipments from, over the borders and across the seas, man. We're not doing that, man. So, you know what I'm saying? So the drug problems has always come from, Central South America, man. We know how corrupt, our politics are too, man. But at the same time, man, it's like, damn, we got to deal with our own shit. We're not trying to deal with our shit and Mexico shit. Like what's the Mexican president over there now? Sheinbaum. I can't pronounce her name right.
Yeah, something like that. Sheinbaum, I can't really pronounce her, but she's been advocating against Trump as well. And his actions.
And the suspicions, man, about her is that what really deals are she doing, because really there's no government really in Mexico and these places, man, to where they're really still third world countries. There's no government there because we understand that she's being ran by the cartels, man. Mexico being ran by the cartels for some decades, man. And so when you look at a nation trying to help her clean up her situation to where they can't even control it, it's out of control, to where the military is ran by the the cartel. As far as the police out there, that is, you have cartels in the ranks of the police departments out there. The cartels run the police. You don't know who's cartel, who's actually police out there. So when you look at someone trying to offer you help with your situation and you turn it away, that's a major red flag already, man. So we don't know what, did she have any deals with Maduro? How is she intertwined? What is the deal? We understand the drug trades that goes on in South and Central America, man. And so I would say, man, Cuba has to watch their back. I understand what Trump is doing. This is always a part of war, man. And when we dealing with politics, we look to keep power and to gain power. I mean, that's just the name of the game. So I understand, where we coming from on this end. But Cuba, we're gonna have to watch their neck too, man. I think they've been trying to get Cuba, for decades, ever since, Fidel Castro was over there, but they had protection, with Russia over there. But I think they're trying to go and capture Cuba because they want Cuba to be, a vacation resort. They're trying to do it like they did New Orleans,
and basically how they had Cuba back in the 1940s and 1950s when it was ruled by what's the guy's name, Batista. They used Cuba as an island, basically like a sin island, where they go and gamble and get with prostitutes and stuff like that. Before Castro's rule. So yeah, I believe that they want to probably try to take it back to something like that. But let me get. Let me get one to these comments real quick, brother. We have Nisha. She says that Democrats love dictators now, and and she makes a good point. Because the Democrats are sitting here defending this man Maduro, after all of these complaints that his own people are complaining about how he ran this country and pretty much ran the country into the ground. How he was forcing people into labor camps and miseducation camps and stuff like that. They all of a sudden love dictators now. They hate Trump so much that they are willing to love other dictators just to spite Trump, which absolutely makes no sense to me. And that just kind of shows their hypocrisy as far as the Democratic Party goes. That shows their hypocrisy, and stuff like that. But we have another person on the panel, House of Sosa. I don't know if you wanted to add to this conversation, but if you had something to say, then you got the floor.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing, man? Hey, so
Right.
I got a friend named Alex, right? And good brother, you know what I'm saying? He's from Venezuela, you know what I'm saying? And when he
Right.
found out that the news had happened, bro, bro, like him, his daughter, and his mom, bro, they were happy. Like I couldn't believe, like I was like, what? Like, hold on, wait, Trump just invaded and took your president out and you're happy, man. And I didn't know the whole story. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't fully understand what was going on until he started telling me about the president, Maduro and all, and why his family came up here. And this is all new to me. So I didn't know anything about this. So and it was just
Right.
shocking. I was like, holy shit. So like they're praising Trump right now. Like this is definitely a win for Trump. I mean, and I get it. A lot of people are hating Trump or mad at Trump, and you might not like Trump, and I get it. But yo, there are a lot of people happy about this. Now, he was like, they're China, the CCP. He also said something like the CCP, China, they are paying protesters in America to protest, go out in the streets and protest against it when people from that country are praising Trump. And I was like, whoa. So because like you said, the CCP, they had deals to get the oil, I guess, or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know.
They just inked the deal right before Trump kidnapped the damn world leader, which
Yeah.
is gangster
So
as fuck. Right before they did that, China had just inked a deal, a 20-year deal with Venezuela to build oil reserves and stuff like that. So yeah,
so
man,
I
China
really
definitely
don't know.
stands something to lose.
Yeah, so I really don't know about this story. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to learn and understand as much as I can. But my man Alex, he was telling me, he was like, man, this is a great thing, man. He was like, God bless Trump and all this. I was like, whoa, what? So hold on, you was mad about deportations. Now you're like, God bless Trump. And I was just lost, bro. So I just at this point, I don't even got no opinion. I'm just like, look, just like the world is topsy turvy, man. Like everyone hates Trump, and now everyone's like proud and praising him. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm confused.
Yeah,
I'm just
it
confused.
is a little confusing. I ain't gonna even lie to you, brother. And this is very familiar because I've seen some Africans, some Nigerians celebrating Trump bombing northern Nigeria as well. So this is like
Yeah,
this is nothing new for the people celebrating the invasions of their own homeland.
yeah. So for me as a Black American, I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of get it because I know Black Americans are like they're tired of the drugs and the destruction of our community, and most of the destruction from for our community comes from the drugs that are shipped from Venezuela and Honduras and Colombia and Caracas and whatever else. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
when the deportations were starting, everyone was like, "Fuck Trump," da-da-da-da-da-da. And now it's in reverse. So wait, Trump was a dictator. You know what I mean? Or him and all his friends were dictators. Now all of a sudden you praise dictators? Now I'm just confused. I'm
Doesn't
confused, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm confused.
doesn't make a lot of sense. I think people who are just wanting to hate on Trump because that's just the popular thing to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't.
It's just weird, man. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Abidi said this is what Israel did. So I don't know if you're talking about the recent Israel recently launching airstrikes on Iran, but all of this tied together. So let me ask the panel a question: does this look like the beginning of World War III? Because China is tied into Venezuela. Russia is tied into helping Venezuela and Africa, specifically the three African nations: Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Is this the
Right.
beginning of World War III? Because all of these countries are involved in this.
I'm glad you
Go
brought
ahead,
that up because
Brother Sean.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to bring that up just a few minutes ago about World War III. Now, this is what I've been saying right when the last year of Biden, Kamala Harris was in office. Could this possibly be World War III brewing? Because we kept seeing things with China and let me go back a little bit. When Trump first got elected or when he was running, he was already talking, about, the possible tariffs that he was going to do, about the situation with Ukraine and China. Man, we've been at it economically with China for the last really 2 decades, if you look at it, man. And I'm looking at China, looking at it as if, okay, man, look, man, y'all digging in our pockets right now, and they're looking at us as screwing around, because now that affects them heavily. And I possibly look at that as World War III because you got to look at, what is our relationship with Russia. Now, you can't forget North Korea. You got a lot of these Arab countries, man, that don't sit too well with the United States. And what the Democrats has been doing is really patting all of these dictators on the back. They're talking about dictators. Trump is a dictator, but they've been patting these dictators on the back, like Netanyahu, people such as him. Not only that, man, look at what they're doing, man. You invite sleeper cells over here. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, it's like shit. It's like we like a whore with their legs open, man. We just inviting all kind of fuck shit. And so Trump putting a lid on a lot of shit, and that will brew, World War III. I would say it's brew. I say it's close to it because they're looking at, hey man, look, you cutting us off from this and this and this and the tariffs. I'm just throwing a lot of shit out there that I'm seeing, man, that it smells like, damn, I'm always hearing China's always ready, for the United States if A, B, and C happen. Russia is always ready, man. So I think it is. I think we're getting to a World War III. I would say if something don't pop off in the next 2 years. But yeah, I can see it.
Well, me, I don't see it. Oh.
Go ahead, brother House of Sosa.
All right, so I don't see it, and here's the reason why I don't see a World War III popping off. It's because America is the supreme power right now. So I don't see China becoming a problem. China, they can't even get their economy right. They got people struggling, and they dealing with homelessness, and China's all fucked up right now. You could just look at YouTube. China's a mess. So I don't think China really got the money like that, like how they be claiming. And then, this is the Western Hemisphere, so I don't know what the international, whatever those people are, international union, I don't know what they're going to do over here on this side of the world because it's not, this isn't like Israel or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So this guy was a corrupt leader. He was hurting his people, and he was doing all this bad shit. So I don't think that people are going to just. Oh, yeah, I got an echo. Hold on.
Yeah. Try it.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, yeah, got it. All right. So I don't think it's going to be a World War III because a lot of people are on the side of America right now because for one, they don't like how the European Union is handling this. The European Union, they didn't even know about this. America didn't tell them, and China, even though they got things going on, I don't think that China's going to be a threat. They don't even have the resources to, like, because they're trying to help Russia out with Ukraine. So they're occupied at the moment. And then Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they're doing great. You know, Trump put that travel ban on those countries, so they put the travel ban back on Trump. So they're like, fine, you know what I mean? Like these countries, they're tired of white imperialism in their African countries. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to fight the good fight. So they're just like, you know, fuck all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they're kicking all them Americans out. I mean, unfortunately, they're kicking out Black Americans too. But I mean, when you're a small country and you're trying to develop yourself, you got to do what you got to do until you can, you know, build your roads, build your hospitals, build your nuclear plants, build your armies, build. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. And so I don't think it's going to be a World War III, but I do think that it's definitely going to be a war coming. I definitely think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be like someone's fighting, like A and B fighting, but I don't think it's going to be like all the countries in the world fighting. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it could or could not be. You know, we don't know, but we might be on the cusp of something similar to it. And as far as China, man, you know, China has one of the largest populations of human beings. Period. So you know, if they wanted to, I think they do have the power and the muscle to assert themselves if they really wanted to. Now, are they more powerful than the American government and military? You know, I don't think so, but I wouldn't underestimate China because they have definitely more muscle than we think, just on the sheer numbers alone.
I want to fill in on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So. I'm glad the brother said what he said, but I have to also say this, man. I don't know if anybody remember. Now, 2014, I remember there was this a thing to where they said China had became the #1 economy in the world, right? America fell to #2. Now, as far as China, as far as how they operate and what their conditions are out there, they're not considered a third world country. Let's remember that. They're not even considered a second world country. Now, as far as people living and, you know, how they living conditions, that's certain areas in China. China is overly populated. You got to remember that, number one. The country is not as big as this one, but they're overly populated. Two, China is a communist country, so you got to understand how the government works. China, now I would tell you this here, brother. I worked for Texas Instruments for 10 years. I worked there from 2003 to 2013 to November 2013. Now I can tell you this off the bat. When I worked there, every year, you know, we would get an audit, and the auditors would come from China. Now in China, they have a Texas Instruments. Now see, let me show you where I'm going with this. From everything from these cars that we drive, these Americanized cars that we drive, from the Samsung.
Hello.
Okay, Haley. If you want to speak, let's let Brother Sean finish his what he's saying, and I'll let you go.
Sorry.
All
right, most deaf. So in my 10 years working there, every year we get an audit from, you know, from the Chinese chapter, and I come to find out in my second year working there that China creates all the chips and the technology for the chips that we use in our Americanized cars. So I started to think, like, wait a minute, hold on. So you mean Chevy, Ford, and Cadillac and all these other, you know, car brands we have out here? I thought that was American. And I knew it was something funny because some of these engines are not American made. And this is when I knew that, damn, China got more power than I actually thought. So when they came out and said that China was the #1 economy in 2014, I knew they wasn't off. Because when we knew that we was having an audit, that we would have a week-long audit, everybody was trying to, you know, straighten up. We had to make sure we didn't have no accidents, no scrap. Scrap meaning that, you know, we deal with wafers. And wafers, you know, this is what we We cut them down to microchips, and I used to be in an inspection lab, and we would check it for defects to make sure there were no scratches, no defects, and anything like that. When I started to look at like, damn, the chips that they make for T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, and I'm like, China is powerful than I thought it was. I'm thinking this is Texas Instruments. As far as we got some in Arizona, throughout Texas. We got some Texas Instruments in other parts of the country, but China runs all of it. So I got to say, man, they're more powerful than we actually think they are. And as far as their military, they don't play about their military. See, China learned how to cut a lot of costs to keep their military in one of the most powerful positions. Now, I would say this as opinion, with strong opinion, I think that China, I won't say that they have a stronger military than the United States, but I would say that they're neck and neck in my beliefs, because China, the way they talk, I just the president just a month ago was saying that they're ready for anything, and they've been talking like this for the last decade. So it's a reason to why we don't go there and we don't try to regulate things in certain nations like North Korea. North Korea is not a powerful nation, but they got a lot of backup. So yeah, I have to be careful we have to be careful saying that China is not a powerful nation like that. I mean, that's too many evidence to say that they're not a powerful country. I'm gonna leave it at that. I just want to address the China situation.
Absolutely, and let me piggyback on that. And because also, not only do we possibly have China to deal with this recent attack on Venezuela, but like we said earlier, Russia as well. Russia remains a primary geopolitical and military ally of Venezuela, specifically supporting the government of Nicolas Maduro. As of January 4th, 2026, this support has reached a critical stage following a major U.S. military operation in the
Hello?
region. Yes, go. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Haley?
Where you calling from, Haley?
Indonesia?
Say who? Say what now?
Kentucky?
Kentucky. Okay, you trolling? Do you have anything to add to this conversation, or are you trolling? Yeah, you're trolling. All right, get out of here. We don't got time to be dealing with no trolling now. If you got something to add to the conversation, then add to the conversation. If not, then get out of here, and I'm going to block you. I'm definitely going to block you. You don't got time to be playing no games. This is serious business right here. We talking about being on the cusp of World War III. We're talking about on the cusp of being on World War III, so we don't got time for no trolls. Russia.
Now, what I do think, sorry.
It's all good, brother. So with recent developments, 2026, the condemnation of U.S. actions on January 3rd and 4th of 2026, the Russian Foreign Ministry officially condemned what is called armed aggression and a large-scale strike by the United States against Venezuela. Demands for Maduro's release following reports that U.S. forces captured Nicolas Maduro. Russia also demands for Maduro's release. Following reports that the U.S. forces captured Nicolas Maduro, Russia demands his immediate release, calling the act an unacceptable encroachment on sovereignty. The diplomatic pressure. Russia has requested an urgent U.S. Security Council. Okay, so Russia is not happy about this either. So, like I was saying, there's definitely we definitely could be looking at the cusp of World War III here. So as far as how this will affect our people, what we need to do is just make sure what we always do with me and 120 lessons, and I'm not sure about House of Sosa, but we train to defend ourselves against any onslaught and any attack from any group, foreign or domestic. So, however this turns out, we just need to make sure that we are prepared to deal with the onslaught and to be able to defend ourselves. That's why I am glad that, especially here in the state of Texas, that nobody has more arms than the state of Texas. So we are definitely ready to defend ourselves. Anyways, the people trying to mess up the flow of my live here.
Yeah,
You
you
want
know
to?
what it is.
Yeah, man, it's just little kids.
Yeah.
But I know how to get their ass up out of here now, though. So I'm good. But
Yeah,
go
man.
ahead, brother Sean.
I will always say this here, man. Look, as far as Black Americans, man, look here, we've always been prepared for A, B, and C. Um, for any reason, we're gonna always be okay. But here's the thing: what I'm really glad on, and what I'm happy about, is that a huge number of us didn't put on the cape for these people. Now I've seen some people did do it on Facebook, but we're not. What I'm glad with this delineation thing, and this ties into it, we're not putting the cape on for people. That we did in the past and what the Democrats tried to get us to do. We cut this stuff out, man. So I'm glad that we're not jumping in and trying to intervene to what going on, between these different nations, man. We let people handle their candle. Um, we taking care of our own situations, man. I think our situations is getting better finally. You know what I'm saying? Since we delineated and not getting in everybody's business, but we do need to keep our eyes peeled and pay attention to what's going on. So, I mean, that's where I'm at on this situation as far as right now.
Definitely agree with you. I think that Black Americans are in the best position that we have been within the last 4 years. I think we just need to keep up with the delineation movement, keep building amongst ourselves, and build institutions and things for ourselves and look out for ourselves, because obviously nobody's going to look out for us except us. Also, we need to keep our foot on the neck of these devils to make sure that they pay what they owe. We want our reparations, and we want a crime bill for anti-black racism and vigilantism. Same thing that the Asian community got during COVID. Okay, something similar to that. So that is the square that we are staying on. We do not have time. We do not have the resources, nor do we have the emotional capacity to throw on the cape for other groups of people. We just don't have the. We just don't have that emotional capacity to do that anymore. Especially when it never benefited us. I don't know if you want to piggyback off of that, but we definitely need to stop putting the capes on.
We need to stop putting the capes on. And you know what I noticed, man? You know me, man. I'm not a person that sit here and take sides because of the left or the right. None of them work for us. But I can say this here: I'm a policy person. This is what we should do. This is a lesson, man. Since the end of 2024 up until now, man. Many of us Black Americans, man, gotta learn to start, focusing on policy, man. We understand we're dealing with the devil, but hey, listen, when we play cards with the devil, we got to make sure that, on our end, in our neck of the woods, man, we okay, man. So, like I was talking to my brother the other day, man, this country is built off hard work and it's also built off of cutting corners. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have a combination of both, and we have to know what we're dealing with. Now that we're on track, knowing what we deal with, we got the delineation thing underway. Then we remove a lot of the Pan African thing that's dying. We about to bury that 6 feet under, and so now we got some straightening, man. And this not only dealing with foreigners, man. This is us delineating from damn near everybody, man. As far as not attaching ourselves to these systems and trying to attach ourselves to these, foreign African nations. This all ties in, man. And because of the delineation thing, that helped and it segued us into not getting involved into this stuff. Because if the Democrats was in office right now, they'll try to do everything under the sun to get us involved with this Venezuelan situation. But notice that the Republicans ain't trying to push Black people to get involved with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They handling their candle and they doing what they doing, man. So, hey, man, I'm in good spirits. I'm glad to see what's going on. We're gonna always have some shit to deal with, no doubt. But I gotta say, man, for where the training is going right now, I can't say. I don't know how happy I can say I am, but we got a lot of work to do. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely, brother. We definitely have a lot of work that still remains to be done. But I have a lot of faith in our people. I have a lot of faith in the country that we built as well, that we are going to maintain and we're going to stay strong. And there's nowhere else to go but up as far as us, as far as foundational Black Americans. There's nowhere else to go but up. We're making all the right moves. We're doing the delineation. We're zeroing in on lineage-based policies. We are calling out the immigrants and tellers amongst us who are trying to get in the way of our progress. We're doing all of that. And that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. But like I said, we are on the cusp of whatever's about to happen, whatever's going on. But to be totally honest with you, I trust the process, and I trust that this particular administration is going to handle business, whether they do it in the popular way or not, that people like or not, but they're getting the job done. The same way Suge Knight got the job done when he had Eazy-E sign that contract to let Dr. Dre out of his contract with Ruthless Records. Okay, it may not have been the prettiest way, it may not have been the most diplomatic way, but he got the job done. And I think that's what the Trump administration is doing right now. Love him or hate him, he's handling his business and he's getting the job done. And like I said, if fuck around and find out, or if test my gangster, respect my gangster was a person, it'd be Trump and it'd be the damn Trump administration. But
Most likely,
yeah,
most definitely.
you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, that's basically in a nutshell what's going on. So right now I'm just kicking back with a bucket of popcorn and I'm just gonna watch this whole thing play out. I'm not kicking up no dust. I'm not about to get out there and cry and complain about what's going on with Venezuela. I have no dog in this fight. Venezuela, just like most other Latin countries, they don't give a damn about us anyway. And the Black people in their country, they treat horribly. So I am not concerned about what is going on with Venezuela and this Venezuelan president. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Because they would not be concerned about us. They already let us know that their fight is their fight and our fight is our fight.
And that right there, brother, since we know that, a lot of us, I'm bringing this up because it is related. When we delineated not only from, the tether class and all these, and I say tether, I'm not just saying the tether class from, the African diaspora, but the tether class from the Latin diaspora and the Latinos that's here, and, the tether class that's here and abroad. White tethers too, because they're originally not from here. But the thing is, this is real Black power, man. We come to see right now. This is what Black power actually is, man. And this is really what Elijah Muhammad was trying to do. People shit on him, but this is what really Elijah Muhammad tried to do, and it's coming to fruition, man. And I'm happy, I'm glad, man. So, even though I'm not a Pan-African, quote unquote, but I will say, hey, I'm still pro-Black. This is Black power. This is what real Black power look like when we stay out of people's situations and we stay out of their problem and we tend to our own. That's what real Black power is. And we see that Black power is actually functioning now. We're starting to get some respect. I'm looking at San Francisco now. They're talking about the reparations bill, putting it in the books. Now, I don't know how that's going to play out. But, hey, like I said, the train is moving. We got people talking now. We got to get what is owed to us. So we're not just looking only to the future, to creating. We got to get what's owed to us. Everybody got their bag, and now it's time for us to get our bag. And so, like I said, man, this movement been moving faster than the Pan-African movement has been moving, man. In these last little 2-3 years, man, we had gotten a lot done, a whole lot done in these last 2 years.
Exactly. And speaking of reparations task force and stuff like that, I don't remember the the brother's name, the governor of Virginia, I believe, the one with the Jamaican background, who says that Black Americans should not get reparations because his parents wouldn't be able to get it. I think his name is Les Moore or Wes Moore, something like that. I think that's his name. I might be mistaken,
It's
but
it's it's
the,
Westmore.
yeah, Wes Moore. Okay, yeah. So recently, he has been overruled as far as him vetoing the reparations bill. So now it is back on the take in the state of Virginia as well. So this is what I'm talking about: how delineation is working. Okay, because this was the plan for the Democrats all along, is to put these people in positions of power and have them represent us as if they know our plight and they know our struggles, and they did not grow up the way we did, and they do not sympathize with our plight and sympathize with our struggles. They come here to take, and just like that woman said in that video, where we come to these countries to take. Now they're getting put out of this country, and they can go and take something to their homeland and build it. That's how I feel about that. Build your own homeland instead of coming here trying to take. Instead of coming here trying to take the initiative to build your roads. Take the initiative to build running water. Take the initiative to have stable electricity in your homelands. You know what I'm saying? So some I have Kevion Clark. Okay, he's gone. Okay, he's been abducted by some aliens, but yeah. So yeah, instead of coming here trying to take the initiative to build your own countries. Take a lesson from Ibrahim Torre. That's what I say. Because when we could talk FBA all day long, we can talk about telling people to go home and fix their homeland. We can say that until we're blue in the face. But if we do not champion them building their homelands and taking their resources back and taking the control of their resources for themselves, then who are we kidding? We're just being anti-African bigots if we do not champion people like Ibrahim Torre.
That's why I wanted to differentiate that. We're not saying that we're not trying to stay connected to our cousins abroad. When we say take, man, I would say if they're going to take something and come here to take, they got to take the examples of what we set. I will say, take the examples of what foundational Black Americans has done before slavery, during slavery, and after slavery, up until now. Take that advice, take those examples, and model that in your own nations. I would hope that some of the African and Caribbean brothers and sisters that's here, someone go and spark those ideas throughout the diaspora in their homeland. And that's what I hope for, man. I know that, out in Haiti, they still dealing with barbecuing those boys. Jamaica got they heavy issues right now. They're still on the colonialism. We know Nigeria, they got so much, unraveling amongst themselves when they talk about black on black crime. They got to fix things amongst themselves, man. So I would like to see Africa fix itself. Each nation that's over there, man. So just take a page out of our book. If you're going to take the examples and take that, you know what I mean? And fix your homeland, man. And quit signing these bad deals, man. Because it's a revolving door with these treaties, man. Trying to get crumbs and you letting people take stronghold of your nations. And that's not a good look. That's not good for the future of your children, man. Here, you see how fast we got things done. Take that example as well. And it can be done. Africa is 98% really Black people in each of those nations, man. So y'all have far too many people over there to let people come over there and run you and run your economy and run your government. And too powerful, man. You got too many people over there to be allowed to have your government be puppets, and for the white colonials and for the Arabs and for the Asians and things of that nature, man. So it can be fixed, man. And I'm glad we did doing what we're doing, because we also not just doing it for ourselves, but we've been an example to everybody across the globe, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lead by example, and good things will follow you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that is exactly what we are doing. We are leading by example. But first things first, we have to clean house. We have to remove from among us the cancerous cells, if you will, that has been plaguing us for for decades, man. That's been plaguing us. And I think that we're doing a good job with that now with this delineation movement. And so like I said, we do not need to be investing any energy, any time, any emotional investment. We do not need to be putting into Venezuela, because it seems to me that the Venezuelan people are happy at the fact that Trump has launched this attack, has launched 35 attacks on airstrikes on Venezuelan vessels. The Venezuelan people seem to be celebrating. They seem to be happy that the president and his wife were kidnapped. And that's the word to use, kidnapped. Like, I never thought that I would see the day that a sitting president would be snatched up out of his crib and brought to New York City to be put on trial. Damn. It don't get no more
Like,
gangster than that, like I said, but hey, man, that's America for you.
this is like Saddam Hussein all over again. This remind me of 2005, man. It's crazy because it's almost 20 years ago to what this happened to Saddam, when they went and captured him and put him on trial. But this is gonna be interesting from now into the very near future, to see how Mexico react. Now, you know what I'm saying, to see how Brazil react, and now Cuba. And I got a funny feeling that Cuba is going to be next, and I believe at the end of that rope that Mexico, which is across the border from where we at, I think we're going to see some real interesting things happen between here and Mexico before Trump gets out of office. I have a strong feeling. I can't say that for sure. Nobody knows. But I think the president over there, Sheinbaum, she knows something's going to go down. So I think they at the at they in their offices, and they at the the council tables, they gearing up, man. They know something about to happen. So this situation with Venezuela, it got everybody in the meeting rooms right now in the wee hours of the night. So this is going to be interesting on how this is going to play out in these next little 3 years.
I definitely couldn't agree with you more. It's definitely an interesting turn of events, and I'm just going to kick back and watch the tornado roar through whichever town it decides to roar through. I'm just going to kick back and watch the disaster happen. And well, like I said, we are a very resilient people. We always stand strong. We survived everything. We survived chattel slavery. We survived Jim Crow. We survived redlining and mass incarceration and the crack cocaine epidemic and all these things. So, to some of the black folks that I see like on Facebook and stuff, who are fear mongering and who are basically complaining about what's going on in Venezuela right now, while living their comfortable, lavish life here in the United States, even if you don't think you're living a lavish lifestyle, I guarantee you, compared to how some of these people are living in some of these other countries, you are living a lavish lifestyle. Okay, you got a goddamn running toilet, and you got electricity that stays on 24/7 as long as you want it to. So that it remains to be seen. We can only just kick back and just watch everything uncoil, and and just wish safety and everybody the best, man. But like I said, this is just the beginning. There's 3 more years from this administration, and we can only imagine what he's going to do before he is out of office. And not only that, we can only imagine who's next to step up and to take after this administration.
I got a question for you too, man.
Yeah.
Question. Now with Trump, we already know that, he done, I don't even want to say he hijacked the oil, but he just straight up took it, like taking the candy from a baby. And with Venezuela supposedly being the richest nation of having oil, what do you think that does for the American economy? Where's that segueing now that we so-called, quote unquote, have control over this oil? What does that mean for the American economy now?
Well, I would like to, the optimistic view that I have about that is I would like for the fact that the more oil reserves we have, the more resources we have, the more power that we have, the more immigrants that we send back home, the more chances and the more opportunity we have for some of that to trickle down to us common folks into our pockets. Okay, either if it's done intentionally or unintentionally, I think that it's a possibility that there would be opportunities for us to pocket a little bit more pocket change. You know what I'm saying? That'll be passed down to the American people. Now that's the optimistic view. Now the pessimistic view, the opposite view of that is what the rich elite always do: take all the money and hoard it for themselves. That's the definite possibility too. But whatever the case, I feel that this is still a good thing. I still think that it is beneficial for the American people. It is beneficial for foundational Black Americans to rid the country of so many illegal immigrants, to free up some of those resources that could possibly go to us and our people. That's what I think about that.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that, man, with the optimistic and the pessimistic view, that's the same thing I was thinking, as far as could possibly the gas prices go down. Maybe
they already done went down.
Yeah. I noticed some things like that, but gas prices. Right. And I've noticed that even with me job searching, man, I'm always looking for extra work and stuff like this, but just to look and see what's out there in the market. And I'm starting to see, man, a lot of, since, people begin sitting back, man, a lot of these jobs been opening up now. So a lot of Black Americans have been saying how, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, man, shit, racism is over and whites. I don't know if I can say this on this app, but with the white supremacist system, I'm not saying that it's better. But what I am saying is that logically, that Black people all over is saying that a lot of the job markets are starting to open up now for them. Remember, man, when I was coming up, I'm an 80s baby. So when I was coming up in the 1980s and growing up in the 90s, I saw my uncles, man, and other old school cats that my dad was friends with would work these construction jobs and stuff like that. And I kind of saw a disappearance of that in my early, 20s and mid 20s, man, and a lot of the Hispanics started getting them jobs. But maybe these jobs will start to come back, man, to where, hey, man, let's get our children working again in these, these fast food restaurants, man. When we grew up, man, during the teenage years, during the summertime, the teenagers and the youth was able to get these part-time jobs, and now they can't because a lot of these illegal immigrants, let's say illegal, I'm not going to just say immigrants, I'm going to say illegal as well, was snatching up these jobs and they was hiring their own people, man. And we've been seeing videos of people exposing this stuff all over. So I'm looking at it, man, delineation, sending people back to their hometowns throughout the South and Central America and throughout the diaspora in Africa. And they even send some of these Europeans back home too. Don't get it twisted. So I'm starting to see a lot of cleanup, man. But my thing is, remember, Trump only got 3 more years, man. So, and there's only so much can be done since then. But like you said with your question, is like who's gonna be next? And I would say this to my black folks, man. I'm not sitting here saying that black people should have high hopes in politics. I'm not saying that you should have trust, but we got to understand the game, man. America, what we live in a political world, man. And I mean, it is what it is. We have to understand the game, and a lot of times we have to play the game. And a lot of black people that's on that Pan-African stuff, saying that you don't get involved in politics or it don't affect you. Listen, man, whether you like it or not, if you pay taxes and you work, you are involved in politics. You are involved in politics in every way, shape, or form. So if your children go to public school, you're paying taxes, you got to pay for, gas, you got to pay for lights, you got to pay for water, your mortgage, your rent, or whatever you're doing, you are involved in politics. So we have to make sure shit is straight for us, man. And that's why I stand on that.
Absolutely, brother. I couldn't agree with you more. And before I go on, I would like to welcome people to the Rebellious Rhymer podcast, Black Conservatism Without the Buck Dancing. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, the Rebellious Rhymer podcast on YouTube. Also, let me throw this in there real quick. The Rebellious Rhymer podcast has partnered with a new company on the scene called Dubby. Okay, that's DUBBY.GG. That's DUBBY.GG. If you go to W.GG and you put in an order, and you can put in my promo code, okay, and that promo code is RRPW. That's RRPW. You put that promo code in with your order, and you get a 10% discount. Okay. But brother, I actually want to ask you a question. Like you heard the comments, people like Jasmine Crockett, the Congressional Black Caucus, and people like that, right? Now they keep pushing this narrative that we need illegal immigrants and to do things like work those farms, and who's going to pick the strawberries, who's going to clean our toilets and cut our grass. Is to me, it's very demeaning as far as how they depict immigrants and what they're good for in this country. For like they're only good for picking strawberries and apples and shit and cleaning people's houses. Do you feel that we need illegal immigrants in this country to pick strawberries and fruit and work the farms and whatnot?
I would say absolutely not, as far as using the word needed. I would say this. Actually, this will open up a lot of summertime jobs and a lot of jobs for a lot of the youth, man, for the teenagers that need jobs. Now, remember, if you go back and listen to your grandmother and your great-grandmother and grandfather, they did a lot of these jobs. They did a lot of our grandparents, man, and great uncles and great aunts on down. I mean, with the generations on down, we've been doing these jobs, man. I think that would open the door for a lot of the youth, man, to keep them out of trouble, man, create, jobs for them to make a living. Now, I don't even want to say make a living. That's the wrong thing to say, but to help them put money in their pocket. Now, it is demeaning because the Democrats know how to play, on people's emotions. It's demeaning to other people saying, only thing you're good for is cleaning toilets and going to pick, fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. Man, listen, we have machinery doing all of this shit now. You know what I'm saying? And don't get it twisted. A lot of these Hispanics are not picking down berries and tomatoes and stuff like that, man. We get little clip bites here on the internet for years of these hardworking people out in the field. Look, they got machines for this shit now, bro. If you go and look at these orchard fields, bro, I lived in Sugar Land for a long while, bro. I done seen these machines go and get these pecans off the trees, and how these machines where they go in and pick these down, these orchard trees, and they got these factories out there in Richmond, Texas, man. They got machinery for this shit. And not only that, man, it's to say that they're basically admitting that black folks is lazy. So the Democrats is trying to say we're lazy. That's what they're saying in our faces. It's saying, okay, man, we're going to get these illegal immigrants to come and, somebody came in.
They came in and was abducted. Was abducted.
Oh yeah. So I would say, man, with the Democrats, not only are they demeaning by trying to use these illegal immigrants, they're saying that they're low level, low brow. They're nothing. They're not educated. They're only good for working menial jobs. But at the same time, under the same breath, they're saying that they'll say, "Oh, well, the white man ain't going to do it," but they also saying that black people are lazy. So it's a double edged sword with these Democrats, and I think, man, um, I believe it should be. I don't want to say another party should be started, but I think we should get into that realm to starting our own party, man, and and creep our way into actually getting this government and take control of the government. You know what I mean? When I say take control of the government, let me be clear. I'm not talking about no hijacking shit. When I say take control, you're overthrowing. Let me be clear what my words. What I mean by having people be more. We taking over the Democratic Party. We start seeing how thorough we are with our policies, how well we run the government, and I think people would gravitate more if we was to actually get in there and do some real work without getting our, hands filthy as far as doing, the devil's work. But that's just, that's an idea, man. It's something I always thought about for a while. But as far as those menial jobs that they talk about, man, it's a slap in the face to us and the Hispanics, man. They should be, appalled by that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm appalled with the Democratic Party because I understand grandma is, everybody grandma, most people grandmothers are staunch Democrats. I get it. My grandparents were, my great aunts were, you know what I'm saying? I see how staunch they were with the Democratic Party. But hey, man, look here, we waking up, man. It's a new day and age. We don't have to work them jobs anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? We need it. We need our youth to have ways to make money, man. Like we used to have people making working in the summertime. So we need those things open for our youth, man. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, man. Yeah, I
Hey,
think that's just
what are we discussing right now? Like, what are we discussing?
What are we discussing?
Yeah, we are basically discussing uh, what's going on in Venezuela as far as
Venezuela?
Trump kidnapping the
Kidnapping.
Venezuelan president and his wife. We're
Oh,
talking about
okay.
foreign policies and things of that nature.
Foreign
So if you
policy.
want to add to the conversation,
Yeah.
feel free. But first, let me know what is your name and where you're calling from.
All right, so look, my name is Nathaniel B. I'm from Oklahoma.
Okay, oh, not that
Yeah,
far from me. So what's
no
going on?
problem. All right, so look, so I ain't gonna lie, I heard about this whole Venezuela stuff, but like, how you think that's gonna affect the oil industry?
Um, Yeah, everything has an effect, man. So
Yeah,
I do believe that it's going to affect the oil industry, but obviously in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? I think that it
yeah,
will affect the oil industry in a positive way. I'm
I,
already seeing the gas prices going down.
yeah,
Crude oil prices are going down. The more reserve that we have, the more flexible we are with with the supply that we have. You know what I'm saying? So that might drive the prices down even more. But
yeah,
then you got China in the run for
China,
this oil. China just inked a deal with
yeah, China
Venezuela
too.
for a 20-year deal with Venezuela
20
to
years.
develop oil fields on their land. So I don't know where this go, but I do feel that it will have an effect on the gas and oil industry in the positive light.
And so China had a deal with Venezuela.
Yes, right before Donald Trump kidnapped a world leader, a president
Yep.
of Venezuela and his wife, like which I always say is gangster as fuck.
And
Right before he did that, China had inked a 20-year deal with Venezuela. So basically, is trade. China would do things like give loans to Venezuela and development investments in exchange for oil. Okay, so China has
mm,
inked a 20-year deal with Venezuela to develop oil fields and stuff like that.
You know
So
what?
now that Trump has made this move, China has pulled back on investments and stuff like that to Venezuela,
That
and
makes
they are
sense.
definitely not happy about this.
They're
So
not happy
we was
about
just talking about this could be the beginning of a World War III type of
it.
situation. What do you think
World
about
War
this?
Three,
Could be. It could be the
maybe.
beginning of a situation like that.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, low key, bro, because that's how World War One started. They killed Archduke, and it was just one guy, and then crazy shit happened, man. You never know, you know what I'm saying? But so you think Venezuela is a U.S. territory now?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a U.S.
That's what Trump
territory,
said.
so it's like Guam.
Pretty much, Trump just said that we are taking control
Yeah.
of Venezuela until we see fit. So he put the
Damn.
vice president of Venezuela in power. Her name is Delcy Rodriguez, and she was
Yeah.
Maduro's vice president. So they put her in power, and Trump says that she will stay in power as long as she does what they say. So basically making her a puppet, so that shows that, that America and the Trump administration is still running shit. So I would say as of right now, unless something is done about it,
Hey, but
but
look,
as of right now, Venezuela is American territory. Yes.
yeah. So it's like Guam. Like Guam is a territory.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Venezuela.
So we'll see what comes of this, man.
Yeah,
Like I said, we just gonna as far as Black Americans in this country, our job is just to kick back, not get emotionally involved in this, because we don't have a dog in this fight. Not directly, maybe indirectly, maybe when it comes to how this will affect our economy, but not directly. We don't have a dog in this fight. So I appreciate you joining GM84J. Appreciate your questions. I'm probably about to wrap this up in a little bit. Brother 120 Lessons, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, but I'm going to probably go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, I say, man, I think get ready to wrap it up, man. I say, man, by the end of next Sunday, man, I think we're going to see what happens between then. Hopefully we can expound and add on to what we talked about tonight. But like I say, it's interesting to see what these other countries, how they're going to respond as far as South and Central America. And also, I'm very interested to see the reaction and what are the actions that China is going to take now. So this has really got me thinking in my head, because I can't see that China sit back and take this lightly. They have a culture of not wanting to look weak. So this is going to be a real interesting week, man, up until next Sunday, man. So that's all I got. It's just me waiting to see what's brewing and what the responses are. Monday's a new day, so a lot of shit gets to cracking on Monday, man. But that's it from me, man. I'm just going to sit back and wait, like you said, with my popcorn. Sit back and wait, and let's see what happens.
Absolutely. It remains to be seen, man. Only time will tell, but we can definitely expound on this subject again next week as new developments come in. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned China. We're waiting to see what they're going to do. And Russia as well, man. We can't forget about Russia, who also in support of Venezuela as well. So yeah, man, this could get ugly, but I'm here for it. And yeah, man, we'll see what comes of it. But we can expound on it definitely next week. But until then, this has been another episode of the Rebellious Rhymer Podcast, Black Conservatism Without the Butt Dancing. I would like to thank my guest, 120 Lessons. He's always bringing some knowledge to the table. Much appreciated, brother. And I would like to thank all the other guests that joined. If anybody else have any last words that they want to add in before I end this live, feel free to do so. And if not, then like I said, this has been another episode of the Rebellious Rhymer Podcast. I am your host, Shane the Artist. And remember, The revolution starts with you. All right? Peace.